For a number of eBay sellers out there, your title may be holding you back, and it may be one of the major components that's keeping you from experiencing more sales. So let's talk about that on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and I am going to start breaking down elements of the eBay listing that I feel, and not just me, eBay feels is very important for you to succeed as a seller on the eBay platform. And it's not just eBay. You can take these ideas and use them on other sites, Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy, you name it, to help build better titles for your listings, and that will help drive more traffic. Driving more traffic or impressions to your listing, because your listings are now going to be better placed in search. Not only that, your items are going to have a better chance to get click-through, where people actually will look at your item before choosing to buy it or to move on. And many times, and we talk about this a lot on this program and the live streams and in other discussions about listings and slow sales, in my research I see a lot of titles that are sorely lacking in proper word placement, keywords, and just the way the title should look. And in this video I want to show you and talk to you about things that eBay wants you to do versus what they don't want you to do, and to give you more information as to why this is important. So let's talk about the basics. eBay gives you 80 characters that you can use, and it is well researched, but it is eBay's recommendation and my recommendation that you use as many of those characters as you can. Certainly you want to use at least 55 of those characters, and those first 55 characters are the most important characters in your title. And there's a number of reasons for it, but the main reason is external Google search, for instance, utilizes only 55 characters. So if you have a long title, they're only going to see the first 55 characters. And that's very important. Now, a lot of you guys could care less about a Google search, but what I've experienced from the accounts, the 2 accounts that I run on eBay, is that I get an additional 15% of my traffic from eBay pushing over the listing to Google, for instance, a Google search. And I talk about it all the time, but it's very important. Someone looking on Google for your item, having no intention on buying your item through eBay, will see that item, see the link to your item if you have a proper title. That's one component. And someone who may never even had the intentions of shopping on eBay will get the opportunity to buy your item because they found it in a Google search. Now, as you can see in this chart, there's a huge difference in sales versus the number of characters used in a listing. The difference between, let's say, 74 characters used is an average of 0.281 average sales per day versus 0.562 when using all 80 characters. That's like 6 characters, and it doesn't seem like a whole lot. There's a lot of times I will see a title that looks pretty good to begin with, but they ran out of things to say, and they could have added more features or selling points to the listing. And as you can see in this chart, that makes pretty good difference. I don't know when this report was compiled, but I can tell you it's probably very relevant to today, and it's something that you should consider when building your titles. Now, you should try to make the titles unique, especially when you're up against a lot of competition. When you're dealing with an item that has high competition, there's multiple sellers selling the same item that you're selling. If you're using similar or even the same titles by using the whole sell similar technique that I like to use, and you keep that title, you are basically telling eBay that your item is pretty much the same as everyone else's. And it's easy for your item to get buried in a search, and a buyer is looking at a sea of the same title. And you want to make sure that while you want to convey a very strong title, you want to maybe change some things up in that title so your title is unique to that buyer when they're seeing it in search for the first time. Now look guys, I know you want to make sure your item is seen and stand out amongst all the titles that you're competing against. But the use of all caps and crazy like letters and stuff like that, it actually does you a disservice. The algorithm actually penalizes you for utilizing all caps in the entire title. It also portrays to the customer that you're screaming at them. Now I've seen sold listings with all caps, but it's just not a good practice in the long run. Avoid using words that have no relevance to the item you're selling or the brand that you're selling, and that's called keyword spamming. And simply, let's say you have a pair of just generic tennis shoes that you're selling. Don't use the words Nike or Adidas or Air or things that don't pertain to the actual shoes you're selling. That can be considered keyword spamming, and it can definitely affect your listing in a negative way. Avoid using misleading descriptive words in your title about your item. If you're selling some books, right? Avoid using the term bestseller unless it is a bestseller. You don't want to use, if you're selling a record, say, double platinum when, no one's ever even heard of that artist. Avoid using like wow, fantastic, incredible, look with the weird, at symbols. Avoid that. It will hurt your title in the long run because, again, we are trying to put in the title what your buyer is going to type when they're searching for your item. If you're selling like, say, a third party or compatible accessory for an item, let's just say an Apple Watch, right? You can't say that the item is an Apple Watch band when it's not made by Apple. You're required to say for Apple Watch, or you can say compatible with Apple Watch, but you can't leave those keywords out because it can be misleading to the buyer. Now let's talk about keywords. Keywords specifically need to be what the buyer would type in search to find your item. Okay, it's simple as that. And a good practice is go into an eBay search, put your item away, and what would you type in to eBay to find your item? And forget about the title that you have maybe assigned to it for now. I'm just saying type in what you would use to find that item in search. That's what your buyers are doing. They're using certain keywords to find the item that fulfills their needs or their wants, and you need to best match your titles with whatever that buyer's typing in. Now I came across a pretty cool tool that I use every once in a while for keyword research, and it's a Chrome extension called Ubersuggest. And simply, it allows you to type in this case, we're typing in olive green sweater, and you can see that with this particular tool, it'll give you different keywords to consider, like men's olive green sweater for men, women's olive green sweater, and so forth, and give you a score for each one of those based on previous searches within Google. Now we know that Google can drive up to 15% additional traffic to your listings if you do them properly. But if they're searching for these things on Google, these same people are searching for these things on eBay in the same way. So it's a very good tool to gain more information, to try to find different keywords to separate your title, help make your title more unique than your competition. Came across a pretty cool graphic that I thought I'd share with you. It pretty much shows that the majority of eBay listings have around 11 to 12 keywords within their 80 character title. And to me, that's probably the sweet spot. Find 10, 11, 12 really good keywords, including what it is, so that your buyers have a better chance to find your item. Here's the things you should do when creating your eBay title. Now here's a list of to-dos that eBay put out on its website. Things that eBay wants you to do when creating your title. Use descriptive keywords to clearly and accurately convey what you're selling. You can use up to 80 characters. Now, we talked about that. Include the item's brand name, artist, or designer. And one thing to keep in mind when you're dealing with that brand name, that artist or designer, if it's one of those brand names, artists, or designer that nobody knows about, has even heard of, maybe a third-party brand from overseas, like one of those Amazon brands that we talk about a lot on this channel, avoid using that, because again, you're wasting your 80 characters on a piece of information that no one's going to search for. Include item specifics, for example, including size, color, and condition. State exactly what your item is, even if your title repeats the category name. Don't use multiple synonyms or plurals. It is not needed for search and may make your title less attractive to buyers. So don't repeat yourself with that information. Omit punctuation marks and asterisks. Don't include wow, look. Buyers don't search for words like that. We talked about that earlier in the video. Now, lastly, I want you to see some examples of good titles versus not so good titles to give you some visual ideas on exactly what we've been talking about in this video. This is a listing for a Dyson V8 Total Clean cordless vacuum cleaner. You can see the title here is descriptive, has good capitalization, so each word has a capitalized word, right? It's not all capitalized in all caps, but each word is capitalized. Includes main keywords at the start. Dyson V8 Total Clean. Includes feature, the cordless vacuum, that's a feature. Includes a selling point, like a 1-year guarantee. Now, most of us don't offer that 1-year guarantee, but if you're one of those sellers that do, it's definitely a selling point. Benefits and features that separate you from other resellers, like that. It's a good idea to make sure your potential buyers are aware that maybe you offer something like that. Here's an example of a listing that really needs some work as far as the title is concerned. It's a 3D VR headset. And as you can see, 3D virtual reality headset, black cheap mobile glasses VR. There's no capitalization, as you can see there. It's hard to read because the words are just kind of thrown in there. It's more written for a search engine than, say, just a regular ordinary person looking for a pair of VR goggles. And really, the title doesn't make use of all 80 characters. So tell me what you think. Please put your comments down below. Let me know if I missed anything. Is there anything that maybe I forgot to mention here that you would add to a title to make it successful? And you don't have to agree with me. These aren't my opinions. This was pulled from eBay. This was pulled from other successful resellers who've actually posted a lot of information on how to be successful. And look, guys, your title is only one component of the entire process, okay? And I'm going to start making some videos trying to break down different parts of the listing, because I think it's important as resellers, we need to have an idea or a mindset of how our listings need to look when we list them, right? And you know what? I see this all the time, and I was guilty of this very same thing. We find a listing, we click on the sell similar, we figure that, you know what? This listing sold with this title, so it can sell for my item, and we launch it. But that's the lazy way to do it. Because look, I know that a lot of you are trying to just churn and get listings out. I get it. But if you find that that item just hasn't sold in weeks, maybe months, it might be time to change up your title. So guys, do me a favor. If you enjoyed the content here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit that notification bell, because I make videos all the time and I want to make sure that you are going to be aware when that happens. Your title is just one component of a successful eBay listing, okay? And I don't have all the answers, but I've learned a lot in making this video, and hopefully you've learned a lot, or even something, maybe one thing, in watching this video. Having a great title to compel a buyer to look at your listing, it's yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And be sure to check out my channel for other videos much like this. And until next time, we will talk to you very soon.